My brothers and sisters, those eyes are unmistakable. After months and months of heartache and confusion, there is finally a real chance for Satoru Gojo to return. He is here now in the main story of Jujutsu Kaisen, and folks are freaking out. The Gojo revival is real, and the Copium made a full comeback with this reveal. So let's discuss what it means for Gojo to come back into the story, because this is such a crazy experience reading JJK right now. In this chapter, it was just what you would expect. Yuji and Todo beat the crap out of Sukuna, and Sukuna is having trouble and is unable to keep up with Todo's new switching enhancement, which gives Todo a Vibra Slap Curse tool and a Binding Vow, which lets him switch 50 times per second. However, what is important is the ending. Once Sukuna is hit with a decisive Black Flash, Sukuna is preparing a hand seal for his domain expansion. However, from the smoke emerges a ghost of the strongest, someone who he killed with his own hands, and Sukuna is surprised to see Gojo appear on the battlefield. Now, there are a couple of options as what this could mean. One, Sukuna is so stressed that he is seeing a literal ghost. Two, it could be someone that took over Gojo or has Gojo's same aura. Or three, it's literally just our blue-eyed king in the flesh. Now, for the first option, that is by far the most tame and likely the option that kills a lot of folks' hype for Gojo's return, because it's simply the case where Sukuna is reaching his limit and he sees his strongest rival staring at him from the grave. It makes sense for Sukuna to see the strongest ghost, as he will never forget Gojo's strength in his life, and he could reflect on him as the fight escalates, especially since now the combined effort of his students play a heavy part in his defeat and wearing him down. Although despite Sukuna's condition, he is still in his right mind, and he would never take his attention away from the fight. So this threat before him may be very real and not just a figment of his imagination in his head. The second option is for Gojo to have been taken over by some kind of entity like Kenjaku, or this person has the same aura as Gojo. For Kenjaku to inhabit Gojo, that is not something entirely impossible, since the only thing holding Kenny back before was the condition of Gojo's dead body. However, since chapter 236, Gojo was dead and his body was ripe for the taking. There is a problem though. When Kenny died, he was in the Gosho Lake colony. However, because Kenjaku died all the way over there, it's virtually impossible for him to access Gojo's body, which by then was already taken in by the sorcerers in their custody. And considering Yuta probably double tapped Kenny and killed his body and the brain. It's also interesting, Miyamura pointed out maybe Gojo could be like a vengeful spirit. However, Gojo was killed with Sukuna's Jujutsu. So unless the World Slash does not register as Curse Energy, then that would be impossible. Though based on Gojo's inability to see the Curse Technique, it's sketchy. However, the Curse Technique is still Jujutsu. Also, we already have Sugawara no Michizane, so hopefully Gojo's ancestor will get name dropped or referenced, or we get a lore drop soon. Wee Wee and Kirara had been teleporting their wounded in order to heal them or for some other reason, and Sukuna noticed Wee Wee took Gojo's body as well. However, that same instance, Sukuna reaffirms that reverse curse technique is not effective on other people, but that's only if their body rejects the treatment. Yet Sukuna doubts Shoko's power, and we'll come back to that in point 3. But it's also possible that this new sorcerer is a character who inherited the Six Eyes, which by all means would probably be Yuta Okotsu, since him and Gojo share an ancestor and Yuta can likely copy the Limitless. However, he requires the Six Eyes. So if Yuta gained them somehow, he really will be the second coming of Gojo, as if he wasn't already a prodigy in his own right. However, the chapter did not mention Gojo by name, yet it did mention the strongest ghost. So that means it's someone regarded as the strongest and a person Sukuna killed, which would likely be Gojo, maybe his second strongest cousin Yuta, or maybe their descendant Sugawara no Michizane, which is crazy. However, it's almost like Sukuna is seeing a remnant of the past. Finally, there is just the reality that Gojo Satoru is back in the flesh, and that is very interesting. I for one was a doubter. I felt his character was finished, I didn't like his death, however, I appreciated his conclusion as a character who stuck true to himself, and Gojo passed away in the airport surrounded by his beloved blue spring of youth. However, now it's like this delusion has won. The airport is now empty, and here we are. Gojo is in the flesh, ready to kick ass. While that is extremely hype, Gojo being alive still would in effect take away from the weight of his death and the intense void that his character left behind. I mean, he died as the strongest of the modern era, and he admitted that Sukuna was stronger than him on multiple occasions, almost concluding that he gave his all and he was satisfied with what he has done. However, if he is now alive, he's itching for another round, and now this brings so many other questions to mind. If Gojo came back in a similar state as in chapter 235, or he was even stronger, he would cook this current Sukuna no contest, because Sukuna right now is nerfed to hell. He's heavily damaged, nerfed RCT, and nerfed cursed energy. Sukuna is just not in a condition to fight a newly awakened Gojo. And if he is in fighting shape somehow, it's purely just the fact that he is Sukuna and he can do whatever he pleases. Even now, if Gojo up and just bodies Sukuna like that, then now Gojo has become this all-powerful answer for the sorcerers to just leave it all to him, which, needless to say, that is very convenient on both ends. But say Gojo comes back weaker. Can you imagine that? A weaker, nerfed Gojo who fights with his students? It sounds pretty awesome and cool. However, that's not quite the strongest Gojo that we know. The Gojo who fights alone, and others actually hold him back because he alone is the honored one. Even his revival. In his first revival, that was all Gojo because he realized the core of cursed energy. However, now it's kind of implied that he received help probably from Wee Wee and Shoko, and maybe even Utsuhime buffing Shoko's RCT, and through some sort of means, Gojo healed and he has returned to the living. It's cool that he got to live with everyone's help, however, it's different. It puts Gojo in a different perspective no matter how you look at it, and if he is indeed alive, then it is so crucial how Gege writes this. The hype is very strong, however, we still have to be realistic. Gojo's motion is huge. The attention his character demands is as big as Jujutsu Kaisen itself, and Gege knows how insane this tease was. And if we know him at all, he can really just pull the most insane juke move that we've ever seen in modern shonen and steer this whole thing in a completely different way. So my brothers and sisters, Gojo's comeback is almost here. However, as of chapter 260, it's not 100% confirmed. If you ask me, it really does seem like Gojo is back in action. I mean, those eyes are just undeniable. However, we really have to see what Gege is cooking, because this is one of the most groundbreaking reveals in the series, and I certainly did not see it coming. However, tell me what you guys think, and I'm sure you brothers and sisters got some things to say about this one, and I would love to hear it. So with that, my brothers and sisters, I'll see you guys in the next one. And I guess for now, welcome back, Gojo Satoru.